share knowledge with my friends. And oh, she was removed from the meeting. What happened? I'll have to share the link again. Nevşah, don't know why.
Yeah, I'm back
Yeah.
now.
Something happened there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to share knowledge, to connect people in global markets. The purpose of this network is to educate, connect, and eventually, of course, do business. Like, so we are leveraging a very international network. I started this out of a personal challenge and pain. I mean, being an immigrant, an outsider in Denmark, I realized that if I don't have a network, it gets. Could you please mute the mic? Someone, maybe it's Alan. I don't know. I can just hear my my voice. So yeah, we are here to connect with each other, and then eventually, of course, do business as well. Who knows? But business starts out of relationships, right? So we'll start something different today. I will not go for the personal introductions because I think we use too much time doing that. Nevşah, we're here to tell your story, and also I would love if you could. Maybe after 25-30 minutes, give us some exercises on conscious breathing. And then I would love if people could also interact with you afterwards and ask you a few questions. So we'll do our best to stick to the 60 minutes that we have today to take the best out of Nevşah. All right? So let's get started. I will just quickly read. I won't read anything, Nevşah.
Yeah,
Welcome.
I'll just go ahead and
Let's just go ahead.
Yeah.
And
Hello, everyone. Yeah.
So Nevşah, you're very welcome. Nevşah, we've crossed paths about I think a year ago or so. We're introduced by your friend from Turkey, who's a Chidem, who's an investor as well, based in the US. And I was fascinated, with what you do, and I think it's super interesting. We got to work also on LinkedIn. So yeah, tell us about your story, about Nevşah,
Sure.
and journey in the conscious breathing space.
Yeah. I'm a well-known self-mastery teacher from Turkey, and I am focused mainly on helping women master all areas of life. My students, 99% of my students are women. So in Nevşah Institute, the institute I have, we say women are welcome, men are allowed. So of course men are allowed, but I'm focused on women mostly. And the reason being, there are a lot of coaches and self-development teachers out there who are male, but women and men are very different, and there are not many teachers that are supporting, especially women, master all areas of life. And as a woman, I started working on my life for over 25 years ago, and I mastered in almost all areas of life. I'm an entrepreneur with different companies, also an investor. I'm a startup angel investor in the startup sector. Also, like LP in Chidam's company. We have an AI fund in Turkey. I regularly invest in real estate. I have a real estate consultancy company. I'm a well-known international leader in breathing sciences field, coming from a behavioral sciences background. I help people change their breathing and thinking habits so that they can live a more fulfilling life, and they can reach to the highest level of performance in their lives and experience high capacity and high willpower so that they get the best results. I'm a best-selling author with 12 books in Turkish. So I'm well known in the Turkish community, and now for the past 10 years, I've been going global, doing conferences, and as a professional speaker as well, being on events and all around the place, in tech events and wellness events, and to corporates and in corporate clubs and different on different levels and on different topics. Right now, the most interesting topic for me is, and I've been shooting videos on that, human psychology and AI, and what's going to be happening in the future, and how we need to cope with it. So breathing sciences and teaching breathwork is only kind of like part of my job. I usually teach 5 principles, which are the principles of self-mastery, which is classic Vedic meditation, breathwork, breathing sciences, mastering your life, aligning with purpose, living a more inspired life from within rather than trying to live life with motivation from outside. Strategy, a lot of coaching. I'll help people ask themselves the best questions that will lead to the best results, and also transformational thinking and helping people become clear on their minds and mastering their minds and mind mastery. And I started with, as a behavioral scientist, the moment I saw the importance of our breathing habits to our behavior and to our health, I wanted to deep dive into it, and I became a breathing scientist, and I'm one of the 3 authorities right now in the field. Still the vice president at Graduate School of Behavioral Health Sciences, also a faculty member at Breathing Sciences faculty, working with other behavioral scientists, psychologists, clinic psychologists, and psychiatrists on helping people change their breathing habits so that they can heal over 200 symptoms: anxiety, panic attack, depression, migraines, body pain, all kinds of body pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, attention deficit problems, ADD, ADHD, learning disorders. These can all be fully healed, totally transformed by just transforming your breathing habit, which is like for when I first realized that it was like a wow, these like people take prescriptive medicine for these symptoms, like when they have migraine, but the migraine happens because of an overbreathing habit, and it is well known in the respiratory science field. But when you have a migraine and you go to a doctor, nobody tells you maybe you should check your breathing habit. Well, we do. So until now, I have helped over 40,000 people, 40,000, yeah, 40, between 40, 45,000 people until now joined my workshops and retreats and courses and webinars. As an entrepreneur, I have multiple digital courses and multiple digital products, and I have an app, Breath Hub. I have an online digital course educational platform. I have another group of employees, or a group I'm working with, who are only focused on events and retreats and workshops. And 3.5 years ago, because I was already in the startup world, investing in startups in the UK and Europe, I told to myself, why don't I build a startup? Because I was already helping founders get resilient and continue what they're doing and align what they're doing with their mission and master their selves before mastering their businesses. Because if you can't govern your mind, you just can't govern your business, you just can't govern your life. So it's really important to live masterfully and a conscious life, especially if you're an entrepreneur and if you're a founder. So I was already helping founders and doing sessions with them, helping the founders I invested in, and also helping other founders. I was already in the space. So I said to myself, okay, breathwork and breathing sciences, this is kind of like going to change how people see health and how people connect with their own well-being. Why not start my own startup? So I founded Breath Hub, which is going pretty well. And Chidam, when we were working with her, introduced me to Carlos, and we have some great investors in Breath Hub as well, growing gradually. We have over 800 sessions people can choose from. Also, a unique breathing analysis system that can help you analyze your breathing habits and create personal breathing journeys, because breathing is very personal. Each one of us need different tools and different techniques and methods to get to optimum health levels and optimum wellness levels, especially using breathing. There are, of course, a lot of well-known teachers like Wim Hof and transformational breathing, rebirthing, of course, pranayama methods. But when it comes to breathing, not one specific technique is good for everyone. So as an expert, I try to lead people into first analyzing their breathing habits so that we can help them reach their fullest potential. So help them get to optimum level of health and well-being. And you can all try Breath Up for free for a week and analyze your breathing habits, learn more about breathing, and go on customized journeys. Yeah, that's kind of like summary of who I am, like doing a lot of things at the same time.
Right. Thanks for sharing. I would like to take a different turn. So, hey, everyone, you will be very welcome to raise your hands here and also jump in and ask questions. I think this is going to be way richer if we proceed in this way. And then Nesha, of course, I'm sure she wants to answer a few questions. But Nesha, on my end here, I mean, I'm curious, like, why is it that you focus primarily on women on this group to begin with? Is it something more personal that you think? Because I remember the first time we spoke, there was something very personal to you regarding your family in regards to why you started in the breathing space, right? And you thought that this was something that you should look more carefully at, and I think what I recall from our conversation it's that this was something very personal that you saw in the family, and then you started specializing there.
Yeah.
And then the second
Now
thing
it's
is like,
even now it's yeah now it's even, I mean, the story behind woman, it's even more personal because it's like there are some incidents in our lives which I think change our lives and our perspective about how things are. So even before that, how everything started is when I was 17 years old. One day, 26th of June, 1992, around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was lying on the street covered in blood, and I had this incident, and it was kind of like the first big call, just telling me to stop. And because I didn't listen to that, I had other incidents coming. But it's like my story goes like when I was 5 years old, I started doing ballet. And then I was a performer on stage as a child. And even though my legs and feet would hurt, I learned kind of like going on and performing. And then afterwards, I was a professional swimmer, racing the whole time, swimming the whole time. And I would do sometimes like I had two workouts every day as an athlete, and it would drain me, but I would go on. And then on top of it, I played volleyball professionally. I was the captain of my school team. I was also playing for a professional team. I was training every day of the week, sometimes 2 days a week. On top of it, I was on studying at the best schools in Turkey and also getting the best grades. So it was kind of like this perform, success. And until I was 17 years old, I don't remember a time I stopped. It was kind of like this perform. And I didn't realize until I stopped and took a breath with that incident, I didn't realize that I was depressed and empty inside and horrible psychologically. And then one day I was riding with my motorcycle and I crashed into a car. And when I woke up, I was covered in blood. I was underneath my motorcycle, and my arm was a wreck and my legs were covered in blood. And that summer, I had to just stay home to heal for 2.5 months instead of seeing with my friends, 17-year-old, I was just lying at our summer house and I had to stop. And it was my first stop call. And after that, because I didn't stop, go deeper, I had some other incidents, but it was kind of like the first call, and I understood the importance of just stopping. And in the end, over the years, I realized that women are very different, and men are very much capable of running in the world and being in action and staying in action the whole time. And in my coaching training and self-development courses and this and that, I realized that male teachers, which are, fabulous, and in the coaching industry and in the self-development industry, usually leads people to manifesting and lead people to setting goals and creating action plans and staying in action. But actually, a woman can't stay in action that much. And when we do stay in action that much, we age faster, we lose our capability like creativity, our feminine side. The way we get results as women is different, and it's by stopping more. It's going on a spiritual journey. So what I did after that incident over the years is I started stopping more and more. I started breath work. I started meditation. Now I do meditation and thinking, deep dive thinking around 3 to 4 hours every day, and getting clear and connecting with myself and being on a spiritual journey is my first priority. And that's actually how I get results, because women, just like our body creates babies, the way we create, we don't manifest. First of all, manifestation is a word that starts with man. So man manifests, and man needs to set goals and stay in action, because that's how man gets results. But if we do the same thing, we don't have the muscle, or we don't have this physical strength men have. I see millions of women getting sick and getting depressed and horrible, just because they are trying to keep up with men, and they're following man-made rules. So it got very clear over the years who I want to help, because women are not aware that there is another way to create their lives, which is by diving within, connecting within, going on a spiritual journey. Because the way women create and live an amazing life is not by doing a lot, is not by staying in action. It is by spending time alone. It is by centering yourself. It is by going on a spiritual journey. So when I look back 20, 25 years ago, and when I crashed that wall, had the accident, and then my life in those days, and compare it to my life now, like that time I wasn't meditating, I wasn't stopping. On the surface, it seemed like I was successful, but my relationships were horrible, socially, health-wise, wealth-wise, physiological, psychological, everything was crashing. And I wasn't noticing. If I continued that, I would probably, now I'm 50 years old, I would probably not look like this if I continued being in action. But what I did is I changed everything for the past 15, 20 years. I'm meditating, stopping at least 3 to 4 hours during the day to dive in, stay centered, stay in my spiritual journey, use my creative energy. And now what's going on in my life is I'm just able to master all areas of life. I'm building wealth. I have optimum health levels, like my skin, everything is blooming, my family, my relationships, everything is different. So that's the reason why, because I kind of like found the secret to the art of being a woman. And it's not taught outside, because usually self-mastery teachers are male. And of course, because the reason why they teach action and action plans is because men get results like that. But women, if we use those techniques, we drain ourselves. Like that's the only reason why women are drained and depressed and psychological problems. And I have helped over, like I said, over 40,000 people, most of them being women, center, learn about breath work, meditation, go on deep spiritual journeys, and they start flourishing. It's like the woman I work with, everything starts changing in their lives. Some of them heal um, heal symptoms like migraine, anxiety. Some of them start building amazing businesses just because they learned to stop, pay attention to themselves, and just because they learned to use their inner power, creative energy, which is kind of like very much related to God, universe, whatever you call it, or you might call it the goddess energy. they started mastering all areas of life. So it's kind of like there is there is a different path for a woman to succeed in all areas of life, which is not spoken about because many teachers are male. And that's why I kind of like had this urge to speak about it and help women. And mostly I have helped, of course, Turkish women all around the world, Middle Eastern women as well. And
Mhm.
yeah, so that's where it all started with my journey. But of course, with breathwork, seeing my family, how people were sick and ill all the time, I wanted to build kind of like a community and build systems that can help people stay healthy and well. Instead of getting prescriptive medicine, I think we can use other natural tools to stay healthy and well. So that's the reason why I built Breath Hub and I built the platforms, health and well-being platforms I built, or the formulas I built. But mainly the reason being women is, like I said, more personal, and I know I can help women. That's why I'm on a mission to empower women with
No, sorry,
rules.
pardon. Alan has a question, and Alan is someone that we spoke a few times now, has built an incredible career in the creative space. I'd like to connect Alan also with several members. So Alan, it's your first time here. Welcome. And
hi everyone. Hi Nevşah. Very fascinating story. I'm kind of really interested myself in things like mindfulness and all of those connected things. You touched on just now about working with women in different regions of the world. I'd love to hear your perspective of how your approach differs for different women in different countries, because obviously there are a lot of cultural differences in terms of women's rights in different countries around the world. So how do you approach that in your work?
Yeah. I don't actually pay a lot of attention to the world, and that's mainly what the art of being a woman is all about. Because, I mean, just basically just a reminder of what the male energy and the female energy looks like because it's kind of like I work with this core energy. When you look at the male sexual organ, it is outwards, it is linear, and it's outwards to the world. And the male energy is going out, it's to the world, it's focused, it's linear, and and that focused energy, I think the word focused is very important because the woman's energy is not focused at all. It's not linear at all. That's why men are more simple. A man can set one goal, focus on that goal, stay in action, and by just staying in action and being on that path, focused on that path and achieving to that goal, can be the happiest individual in the world. But women, when you look at woman's sexual organ, it is inwards and it is expanding. And because I gave birth 2 times, I have 2 daughters, and I was pregnant to twins, it's like the expansion it's just huge. You expand and expand and expand, and you're like, this inner space I have is just incredible when you expand. So the whole journey of man is outward and stay in action, and that's why men are stronger in their physical bodies, muscular and stronger, because you can stay on earth and the earthly experience time-wise and energy-wise more than women. You are more capable of that. But women, we are not that strong physically, and our whole energy is structured for us to go within. But we somehow forgot that because men are very much capable of creating systems and rules and structures, because this is a man's world and man created the structure. Somehow women lost their connection with themselves and started thinking we should follow those rules to succeed. And I was one of them, like perform and stay in action. But that's not the thing. The way the energy of a woman is inward. And when women stop and start spending time in their inner world, they become they re-become who they were meant to be, which is loving, light, sacred, and that's what the world needs. Because men are already out there working and structuring and rules, but men do not have the wisdom or the connection with spirit or God or the universe. We have direct connection. It's like that's why our bodies create babies. And the mother's womb is kind of like this where the creation happens. So I teach women, it doesn't matter where they are from, but I literally teach women to go back to their womb and to go back to that sacred creative energy and to stay there and spend time in their inner world with meditation, with breath work, with mind work, so that they can go beyond their judgments, they can have a clear mind, they can stay balanced and in tune with themselves and with that creative energy. And that creative energy has a lot of wisdom and, like I said, love and light in it. And what happens is once they start connecting with that energy, they become more loving, they become more elegant and more soft. And then that loving energy just shines outside and starts healing their bodies, healing their families, healing their world. And I love seeing it. It's like I love seeing women get back to their roots, just like in the ancient traditions, you know, and connect with that loving spiritual energy. Because women, it's like men can cope with judgments, but women can't cope with judgment. It's like try judging a woman. It's like we go wild and we go mad because it's like we're not good with judgments and structures. We are better human beings when we are connected with love and spirituality, because then we love ourselves and we love everyone. And I said it like this is the third time, but this is what the world needs right now. It's like it is getting clear for me that the reason why we have all this chaos and war and all this is because of the lack of feminine energy. So in the bigger scale, I see that the more the more women I can lead or help connect with the love they have inside, the more love there will be in the universe. So it doesn't matter where they are from. I'm kind of like also giving the message to the world, saying that we can only be equal as men and women once women stop trying to be like men and retune into their real power, which is the feminine power. Of course, we are equal as humans, but it's like we lost that equation because we lost our connection with our real power, which is our spirituality. Our real power isn't physical power. Men have physical power, but our real power is spiritual power. It's our connection with the divine. And when we use that connection, we become goddesses in this with the sacred energy. We create more and we gain the ability to govern our lives. So yeah, it doesn't matter where the women are from. It's like because I speak about a truth that is deeper than what's on the surface, I think all women can connect with them, or all men can connect with this truth when I say women are here to bring love and light and spirituality and wisdom, and men are here to bring structure and systems and rules.
Thank you
Thank
for that.
Thanks, Nesha. We have two raised hands. Fernanda was the first one, and then Sergio in the sequence. And so, yeah, Frederico just joined in. Nice, there's more people joining in. Fernanda, you're very welcome. Fernanda is also a member of our community here, and she's leading a few fronts. So welcome, Fernanda. Go ahead.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you very much, Nisha. I think you touched very crucial points. And from my perspective, we are in a very complicated and very sensitive moment where you just pointed that there is this fight, sometimes, out there, sometimes a little bit under the rug. that we are all equals, and I do believe we are as humans, as citizens, as nature. But of course, we operate in different ways. And I feel like sometimes to bring up this kind of discussion or this kind of conversation, depending where you are or what kind of environment you are, especially when you are in corporate environments, can be very delicate and very sensitive to some people. So this is supposed to be, although this introduction is a little, ambiguous, this is supposed to be a very pragmatic question. So in this kind of environments, what kind of, precautions or what kind of filters do you apply to promote empathy between men and women and avoid starting a war or starting discussions that can lead to bad conclusions or to animosity? So what kind of posture, attitude do you take and do you recommend so we can out there explain the differences, promote these different ways of operating while generating empathy and this sense of, completing each other and not fighting the differences that we have?
Yeah, I love the question. Thank you very much. It's very wise and beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, so I believe in being something rather than intellectually trying to act upon it. So it's like I usually lead women because men are already very much focused in what they're doing, and the whole, like I said, the system of the world is already very much in tune with the male energy. So I don't think men or males have any issues with the rules and regulations and the systems and the structure in the business world. It's like we women are suffering more because we are not used to that structure, and we just can't cope with that structure. It's like it's not aligned with our truth, our deepest truth. So I like leading women into understanding who they are and connecting them with the wisdom and understanding they have within. Because when we, and this is not something intellectual, it's kind of like when women start meditating and when women start spending time with breath work and deep thinking, and like I said, spend time in their spiritual evolution process, their being starts changing. And men usually realize that. It's like I have had a lot of men, thousands of men in my courses, and I usually, because I'm interested in the topic, I usually ask men a question in my seminars and in my webinars and workshops. I ask them, imagine two women. One of them is acting like a man. She forgot her power, real power, which is love and understanding and wisdom and light. She's disconnected from herself, so there is no elegance and there is no light and love and this flow in the woman. And she disconnected from herself, and she's fully managing herself with man-made rules, and she became like a man, and she's acting like a man, and she's arguing with you and trying to figure out things, and um, just imagine that kind of a woman, like fighting with you and fighting with the man and trying to work things out by acting like a man, which is fighting. When you look at little children, boys, they fight from 2 years old, 3 years old, and they argue, and that's the male thing. It's like, getting out there and grabbing and all that. Imagine a woman doing that and arguing and acting like a man. And then there is another woman in her workplace or at home or whatever. She's fully zen, and in her being, she's connected with that feminine, elegant energy. She's loving, she's understanding, She doesn't fight, she doesn't argue, because a woman who is connected with her femininity and the power within, which is pure love, would not ever argue or ever fight, because when I look at a male or someone in the eye with full in my being, with full understanding and full light and love, they just melt. I don't need to argue. It's like arguing is the lowest level of action for women. It's like I usually tell in my trainings, like, if when you learn the art of being a woman, you don't ever argue or fight. You just love and understand. And when I ask men, I say, in the workplace, there's this woman loving and understanding and bringing wisdom no matter what. Which one would you listen to? And every man answered the second one. Every man, it's like, and they even said, like, I would just tell whatever she says. I would just do whatever she says. It's like, that's why I say that's what the world needs. When a woman becomes a real woman and learns the art of being a woman, which is staying connected with love and light, that is huge power. And women are not aware of that. Women think they have to fight to get what they want. No, I don't have to fight for what I want. By the way, I'm telling this as a woman who has in the AI fund, in Breath Hub, we also have another tech company, which is a wellness app studio. In all those companies, I have 3 very powerful male co-founders. 3 very powerful. And I'm governing and leading all of them without arguing anything, just by being a woman and being connected with my own power and my own wisdom and my vision. And they're just feeling that sacred energy and sacred wisdom. And they're like, thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. And I don't have any of those frictions people have. But the moment I disconnect from myself, because I have been through that, it's like I remember my first marriage, and now it's not because I different another man, but it's like I am someone different, who I was in my first marriage, and how much fights and how much fighting and that stressful energy was there, because I was trying to act like a man and tried to fight with him, and instead of being who I am and be love and understanding, we had a lot of problems, and he was aggressive, stressed, and all of that. And now, because I changed, because I'm connected with I literally experience my husband every time he's a bit stressed, or every time he's kind of like tries to argue with me. I'm just connected with myself, with that unlimited love I have inside. And when you spend 2-3 hours a day connecting with that, you become love. He just no words. He just have no words to say. He just kind of like obeys, but it's not obeying. He's like, he has such a respect. So it's like when we become real women and we connect with that sacred feminine energy, men feel it, men know it, and man respect it. Like all of the male in this room would say so. It's like when that elegant, soft energy is around, they don't want to argue with that, because they're like, oh, this is what I need. Thank you. Right? The guys over here. Yeah, they need us to be women. They don't need us to fight like they do. They're already fighting. They need that healing, and they need that love, and that mothery energy. And then they're like, oh, thank you. Just stay here, and we'll work things out.
It's finding balance, right, between the roles.
Yeah. And
Thank
that's kind of like the difference. Then it's like when we own that difference as women, when we own that sacred space, then there is no arguing and there is no harsh energy because the difference is perfect. And then we work along like a dance. They do the system, we bring the love and light and wisdom. It's like it's just magical.
Thank you. Nesha, we have Sergio, also another member of our community. Sergio,
Hello.
go ahead,
Hi.
man.
So these conversations are so amazing. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, and your work seems to be very powerful and beautiful. It resonates a lot with me, even if I'm being a man, maybe because I'm a gay man. I don't know. I also don't relate to this straight white male way of dealing with things, especially in the corporate world. But anyways, I have a more specific question. I understand the benefits of meditation and breathing exercises. I have practiced some Kundalini techniques, yoga in Brazil, and more recently here in Lisbon, a specific breathing technique with music. However, I end up drowning in overwhelm, lack of motivation, very much related to my mental health right now, and my situation here in Lisbon. And I can see a lot of friends in the same situation, women and men. The speed of the word maybe can be very overwhelming for a lot of people.
Mhm.
And I was wondering if you would suggest a small action for someone who needs to reconnect with these habits, with their spirituality, because what people usually suggest is basically don't be lazy, wake up early, engage in physical activity, sleep 8 hours. So, but we are not in this. I'm talking about myself. I'm not in this conventional level of energy right now. It seems like I lost something, and every time I try to meditate, I wonder what kind of meditation it will be best for me right now. I can't quite concentrate in silence. I prefer meditation with mantras. But even the Kundalini methods, I know it seems don't have the right approach to this situation. So I was wondering if you have some kind of tip or suggest to a small action that we can maybe change our habits and open this energy door for us to go back to a more connected way of living.
Yeah. I have a colleague of mine, Luke, who is also living in Lisbon. I would love you to meet, by the way, him, Sergio. He's a highly spiritual guy coming from the Kabbalah tradition, French, British. We're working together, very close friends as well. And he's this amazing guy, like very wise, and they live in Lisbon as well, and they're inside the spiritual community. I guess that's kind of like because Lisbon have a lot of really deep spiritual communities. I think being part of a community like that, since you are there, if I was there, I would definitely be part of a community.
Sure.
Would help. That's the first thing. The second thing, I know what you mean because I also work with founders and help founders align them with their mission. And what you're saying is kind of like the 21st century thing. People are trying to motivate themselves from outside. And what you're speaking about is just like that. It's like because we are very much conditioned with all social media and this and that. And people say this is the right way, the others say that's the right way. It's like there's a lot of conditioning, a lot of let's do this, let's do that. I totally can connect with that. And the first thing is working with our minds and working with our conditioning is very much important, especially now in this century. So that's why one of the principles I teach is mind. And I work with mind transformational methods to dissolve the conditioning so that you can find out who you truly are and what your mission in life is. And we also have a process called the values process, values determination process, which we ask you basic questions and then you connect with your truth, your values, your mission in life, and who you are. And then I teach you methods how to align your daily activities with what you value and your priorities and your truth, because each human being is unique. And any method that is out there, even if it's loud, telling we should all do this, it doesn't make sense, because we shouldn't all do that. It's like we're unique. We're all different. We need different tools and different methods and different paths, because we have different unique values and unique priorities. So my suggestion would be, like, for example, a process like values determination process, understanding your values, understanding your mission, because there are two ways of living life. One is living life inspired from within, and one is living life trying to motivate yourself from without. So people, and that's kind of like I teach it in my seminars to founders. I usually say, if you're trying to motivate yourself from without, you are not going to succeed, because you can't stay resilient. You can't keep on doing the same thing with a conditioning. It's like you just can't go out there and say, I must do this, and keep on doing that for 4 years, 5 years, and build an amazing company. You can only keep on doing one thing if you wake up in the morning saying, I love doing this. There is nothing in the world rather than doing this. So it's like, if your business or your life, whatever you're doing in your life, is aligned with what you love, but what you truly love deep in your heart, when it's truly aligned with your big why and who you are, then you can't wait to wake up in the morning and do what you're doing, and then you succeed. So it's like, I try to help people find out who they are, their purpose in life, their mission, and also their values and their priorities, and align everything they're doing with that, and not do anything other than that, because that's the fullest potential. And that was in the like Greek tradition, the telos, which is kind of like where humans experience their God selves, and they start experiencing beyond their human limits. It's like, once you are led by a purpose, once you live your life with an inner inspiration, you're unstoppable. You tap into this unlimited potential. And then I'm experiencing it daily. It's like you tap into this unlimited potential and this geniusness in your mind, and where you can't wait to wake up in the morning and go to work or do what you love. So that's kind of like the thing. Just what I would suggest is writing down every thought, because these are conditioned thoughts, and this is kind of like the exercise I promised Carlos, but I can also give you a breathing exercise. So this is kind of like a mind exercise. You can literally write down every thought you have that starts with must, ought to, have to, like I must do this, I must do that, ought to, have to, or any thought that finishes with this is right, that's wrong. Write them down. Those are your conditioning, and those are not aligned with your values and who you are. With those thoughts, it's like, with I must do thoughts, we do things with trying to motivate ourselves, but it's like, it's not a heartful act. We don't want to do this. We do that because we think I must. Once you look at those and just start quitting every action that starts with a must, and then make a list of everything you love, what you love doing. It's like, make a list and then ask yourself, how can I create a career doing these and earn money from it? Like, my values are, first value is self-mastery, and I'm fully committed to self-mastery. Second is business and wealth building. And third is community and helping others and being in a community and teaching and being a leader and influencer. So I'm using, and my fourth actually value is family, home, family, being at home and all that. I'm using all of my 4 values in my work right now. I'm working from home, most of the time home. I'm with my family. I'm doing a business around self-mastery. I'm an influencer in the field, helping people, and I'm building my business and wealth. And I don't need any motivation at all. It's like, so living an inspired life is very easy. And how we can try to understand how we can do that is by looking at our conditioning with all those thoughts and just quitting everything we do with a must and ask ourselves, what do I love the most? What do I love doing? Like, when does my energy rise? When do I think creatively? What do I like thinking? What do I like researching about? What do I love reading about? And just do those and create a business around that. And you won't have any motivational issues anymore.
Amazing.
When you do what you love and love what you do, you don't need motivation.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It was very helpful.
Yeah, and
I
then
love it.
another exercise would be, by the way, Carlos, for everyone, whenever you need some centering, I love this exercise called coherent breathing. You can breathe in and out through the nose, counting to 5, like breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just do that around a minute or two. That balances the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system and the left and the right lobes of the brain, so you can center with yourself. It's kind of like, I see coherent breathing as kind of like the gateway to our spirituality or to our truth. Because we balance, it's like you dive deep into your own truth, and you can practice it anytime, anywhere. Like 5 in, 5 out, balancing the inhale and exhale works magical.
Amazing. Anyone else questions? I mean, this is a very special opportunity. So if you guys have questions, also eventually, even regarding, I know people here are looking at partnerships or things like that. I think you can take advantage of it in a good way. That's what I mean.
Yeah, something very necessary, balance.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I might have one question, Nesha. Since I'm also, I mean, I'm a fan, of course. We've known each other for a while now, and I'm a father to girls, and I even wrote a post today about how I came across the whole how spirituality in a way came across in my life, and it was back in 2017. I was actually reading that book of Ray Dalio where he talks about transcendental meditation. It's called Principles, and it's quite interesting for a guy that is an investor. And then he's talking, and I'm a big fan of Ray Dalio because it's someone who thinks, like when you read his work, it's deep. He always has great arguments. He doesn't have formulas, and I'm someone I'm trying to get formulas out of my life because people expect a formula for everything. And so, being a father of 2 girls, I think. So first off, I got in touch with transcendental meditation. Had to find out who I am really, and this is one of the reasons why I'm building this community, because it's about being international, it's about community, it's about amplifying voices as well, and of course, eventually creating business opportunities, right? But being a father of 2 girls, I mean, they teach me a lot about their sweet side, which it's always a reminder that they give me, and sometimes they're like it's quite interesting, because they're very different beings, and I cannot treat them the same. One is more soft than the other, but the other can be very sensitive in some ways, so what would be your advice? Because I think this conversation that we are having here today, you're talking about the feminine side, and Sergio even said maybe it's because I'm a gay man, and I disagree because I'm here as well. And maybe we are all connected here with we have this thing that connects us here, which is, of course, we're interested in what you're doing, but the feminine, let's say, side of ours, that it's we are all interested in that, right? But your advice for someone who's raising women, and women tend very much to, when they reach the higher echelons of an organization, they change because they feel they have to adapt. And I don't want my children to, I want them to, to pursue their talent, which is what I'm trying to do here as well. I think I figured where I excel, and I'm very comfortable about it, but I know where I suck, and I'm trying to look for support in the areas nowadays where I'm not good at. So your advice for a father, I think that would be my question.
Yeah, sure. For a father, and also each one of us, for ourselves and for others as well. So we are all by nature, and this is like basic behavioral sciences. When you look at human behavior, humans only behave aligned and alongside with what they value. So it's like no force could wake you up in the morning and make you do something. Of course, if I have a gun in your head, you would probably, but it's like no other force would make you wake up in the morning and do something you don't value. If you behave, if you act, if you're doing something, there is definitely some value. It's like you're definitely valuing, you're definitely motivated from either if it's conditioning or not. Even our conditionings are a bit aligned with our values. So what I would suggest is for everyone in this group, first of all, pay attention to your instinctive values, and pay attention to what you're doing naturally. So it's like, first of all, for yourself, and then I'm going to come to your girls and our children and everyone in our lives, in our families. First, start with paying attention to yourself and just look at your life as an observer and just really think of it like, how are you spending your time? And then how are you spending your energy? And then how are you spending your money? What are you thinking about the whole day? What do you want to research about? What do you want to read about? Because we tend to focus on things we value the most. You spend the most time doing what you value the most. You spend the most energy valuing on things you value the most. You spend money on things you value the most. You think day and night the things you like. Some people think about their children, other people think about wealth building, other people think about business, and other people their health and what they're going to eat. Like I have friends who value health and well-being much more than I do. The whole day they read books on what to eat, what not to eat, research websites on healthy eating. They look at the backside of everything they buy and the calories and everything, and they think about what they're going to eat and what they're going to cook the whole day. I don't. Like when you look at what I think through the day, I think about my business and how to grow my business. It's obviously my first value. So we tend to think most about what we value. We tend to talk most about what we value. So pay attention to your conversation with other people. Pay attention to the conversation in your own head. Pay attention to what you're doing in your free time, spare time, or pay attention to what you're reading. When you go to a bookstore, which kind of books are you interested in? What your goals are, like around which topic, your intentions. So when you look at that, you see what you value the most. And then in our relationships with people in our lives, for example, with your girls, look carefully at what they do the most, what they talk about, what they think about. When you give them money, what they buy. For example, my older daughter,
Makeup. It's so
when
funny.
she has the time, like since her childhood, when she had the time, she loves just she loved, like even when she was 7 years old, 10 years old, she would go to her room and try outfits, different t-shirts. She would cut her t-shirts, spend time with clothes. And she loved wearing different clothes. She shops clothes, and now she's studying fashion design. No wonder. My younger daughter, she's interested in makeup and skincare, and she knows like about skin and skincare. She knows better than me or anyone else. And when she has the money, she buys skincare products. She has more skincare products and more makeup stuff, 14 years old, than I and her sister have combined. So it's like for her future, when she says, Mom, I would like to study cosmetology and learn about skin, and I would like to build a cosmetics brand one day, of course I'm going to support her because she's spending all her time and her focus and and the second thing is her friends and communication. She loves speaking with her friends. So it's like she's going to be in some kind of public relations probably. And so it's like really pay attention to what they do. For example, I have a friend, and go beyond your conditioning. For example, I have a friend whose son was wanted to play video games the whole time. And she was with her conditioning, just thinking he shouldn't do that. He shouldn't play video games. This is waste of time. And then I coached her and I helped her understand her son's value. And now her son is earning an amazing amount of money, made a business out of playing video games. He's one of the best video game players. He's shooting videos, YouTube videos, and he's creating an empire, business empire out of playing video games. He just wants to sit down and play video games. And now he's just doing that. He made a business out of it. Brilliant. So the problem is when raising kids, and I had that with my mom and dad, the problem with us is when we stick to our own values and think our values and our truth is the truth and better than anyone. It's like, for example, that lady who was telling me he shouldn't play video games. I was like, you're saying that because you don't value video games, because your value isn't video games. Your value is she was an investor. Your value is wealth building and investing. So you want him to do that, but he's unique. He doesn't value what you value. So if we have true empathy, if we want to truly connect with the other people in our lives, family, business, pay attention to how they spend their time, how they spend their energy, what they talk about. Really listen. Instead of shaping the conversation yourself, just let them talk and listen, really carefully listen what they're talking about. They're talking about what they value. And each human being is unique and no value is better than the other. So it's like we all value other stuff. We all have priorities. And when you listen to what they value, when you watch them closely, what they're researching about, what they're watching on TV, what they're talking about, what they're like, even when they're doing, when they're writing essays, what they're writing about, it's like, it just shows, it's out there when you look closely. So first yourself and then them, knowing that we have full potential, we tap into our fullest potential when we only do things we value the most. So
Terrific.
let them do their thing.
Mhm. Yeah, I even wrote here that I started taking notes in case they forget one day, just to remind them, because I
Lovely.
think that's very
Lovely.
powerful. Just to say, you used to talk about that. Do you remember? Because sometimes we tend to forget, right? So,
Yeah,
but Nevşah,
letting people be, it's like that's the biggest
yeah.
gift we can give to humans.
Nevşah, I think we are. I'd love to talk more for sure, but just to be
Thank you.
respectful of your time. Thank you very much for this. I mean, we spoke
Thank you
about
too.
incredible things here today,
I would love
and
to take a photo so I can connect with everyone here on LinkedIn.
exactly. That's exactly the purpose. I'm not sure if Christian can speak or Xenia or Ilya, but Christian actually he started a health tech company. Maybe you guys can connect offline as well.
Would love to, yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely, it will be a pleasure. It was an interesting chat, and I really appreciate the invitation, Carlos. And I'm
Sure.
glad to meet everybody.
Yeah,
in the
where
next
is
time.
everybody from? Like, where do you all live?
I'm talking actually right now. I'm talking from Central America. So I'm in the middle of I'm driving. I'm sorry. I apologize for not having my camera on, but I'm picking my kids up at school. But I've been listening to everything, and I have enjoyed it very much. I'm a friend of Carlos and within the LinkedIn network, and yeah, I love to learn, and I'm an artist actually. I'm a painter also.
Lovely to meet
So
you.
this topic was really interesting for me. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely.
So hopefully we can connect with each other. So yeah,
Yeah, I will send
Yeah.
connections on LinkedIn
of
to
course.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So if Nevşah has time, of course, you're very welcome to say where you're speaking from. I'm speaking today from Brazil, but I live in Denmark. Brazilian living in Denmark now for a decade. And
Yeah, I would love to know where everybody's from, and then we can wrap it up.
your thing. Gustavo, go ahead.
Yeah, so hey, I'm Gustavo. I'm from Brazil also, but I'm living in Berlin, Germany.
Okay.
Fernanda?
Well, I'm a Brazilian. I graduated in fashion design, but I'm living in Spain. It has been 2 years and a half now.
Lovely.
Brilliant. Thank you. Xenia in Central America. Ilya, your turn.
Yeah, my name is Ilya with an e-commerce background, and I live now in the UK,
Lovely. Where in the UK?
near Reading.
Okay, lovely.
Xenia, where in Central America? Maybe you'd like to say
Yeah, of course. Central America. I say Central America because I am from El Salvador, which is the tiniest country in Central America, and but I live in Nicaragua, and I work for a company that is in Honduras. So it's kind of like a mix of the whole Central America area. And yeah, that's I keep moving all the time between those countries, also Costa Rica. So yeah, I definitely I'm always, like looking for getting connected with people like from other continents, and I'm really enjoying it. Carlos is helping me a lot with this to evolve, right, Carlos?
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
JJ, your turn.
Yes, I'm JJ. I'm based in Denmark. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
lovely.
Yes, working in the medical device area, or patient monitoring with wearable devices and technology. Yes.
Thank you, JJ. Sergio, but go again, Sergio, of course.
I'm Brazilian, living in
Lisbon.
Lisbon, but I'm trying and dreaming of relocate to Denmark because I have a spiritual connection to Copenhagen, and I'm trying to move there for good.
Okay.
Come, join us.
Yeah, please give me a job.
Christian, your turn.
Yeah, hello, I'm Christian. I live in Bucharest, and as Carlo introduced earlier, I started last year a company it's called Folk Health, and we're in wearable and also in telehealth. So yeah, I would love to connect with all of you. And Nevşah, thanks for sharing. It was incredible. Sorry for being late. I was, I don't know, 15 minutes late, and I feel sorry that I missed the beginning, but yeah, it was incredible. Thank you all.
Yeah, hopefully we'll connect.
Yeah.
Hope
Of
to see
course.
you live one day.
Yeah, do connect offline. I think we're having great success. Yeah, actually, I heard 2 days ago that some guys that they've been joining and they had 4 or 5 meetings already. So that's a very strong KPI for me. The people are connecting offline. So yeah, and thank you very much all for this. do connect offline. This is going to be recorded, Christian, so don't worry about it. And yeah, I'll see you next time very soon.
Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Cool.
Lovely
Sure
to
thing.
connect.
Thank you.
Cheers.
See you next
everybody.
time. Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.